we got the issue that relates to the schema evolution. If you don't know schema evolution, that means when you ingest the data from data sources and land into your data warehouse or like lakehouse, the schema should be forcefully embedded into the warehouse, or we use the schema inferred in the pipeline. That means whatever change in schema that will reflect the data warehouse. But if you're working in the data warehousing, the schema should not be changed frequently because there's sometimes the data will be refreshed and the pipeline to refresh, materializing on the table, base table for the view, and the consumption will be impacted if we don't specify the column in the report. But the best practice is we did all schema evolution in lakehouse and stored in the Pocket file with a columnar storage, or we can using the delta table to store our data. And we can use the info schema in the pipeline. If you see in the book, I think I mentioned somewhere in here schema change. Schema change, I think that more is related to um, data processing like a schema change, change schema versioning during streaming or batching data pipeline. So we need to handle those using the register. If you're working in the Kafka registry, schema registry, or if you're working in the AWS, their catalog, glue catalog, somewhere we can store the schema version in the schema, and then we can apply into the data warehouse. But the best practice is you use the info schema in the lakehouse. And in the data warehouse, what we can do is we create the in pipeline notifications. If any added schema, added column, modified column, or deleted columns, we can send the notifications. And how we can query the, uh, the the data sources and query the destination, I mean the target, and compare to identify which column changes, so we can send notifications after all. And that is the best practice and currently apply in my projects. There are a couple solutions to query the data, query the schema. You can directly query the schema in the data warehouse, or we have the centralized, I mean the registry to store on the schema as a version in, then compare the schema as I mentioned earlier. And that is the best practice. And I think I mentioned here, and for the schema changes detection, we can know where the column is added, where the column is modified, and with that modified column we can add it further by create the SQL script for a user or the operation team to run a query on the data warehouse if we want. But beside the operation in a modern data warehouse like Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift, they have the function that they can store the data with the variant column format. So mean you can store the JSON object into the column. What from there you can query the data, processing the data by just using the get dictionary, basically in the Python, or just store the data struct format. Then you can in the downstream you can pick up the data for processing on any backfill in the data if you want to add in a new column. Otherwise, if you suddenly change the schema, there's no backup data for you to review, I mean backfill your data. That's a very sufficient to have the column or the backup data in your data warehouse or data lake. Make sure you archive all the file, and or you store data in somewhere. Later on you can backfill your data if you have issue or any change request. So that's the all thing I want to mention. And I think we got issue frequently. I think 2 or 3 projects that I have been working on required the schema evolutions. And I would say the lakehouse, if you're using the lakehouse, we can definitely store data, infer schema. So if you don't Let me check if we have the info schema here, because I think in the backend we have the info schema here. It's true. Um, or or we can force the table with the schema that we define in the code. Or if we don't want to store the schema in the code, we can use it another service to store the schema, like mentioned, Kafka registry or Clue catalog to store the schema. And whenever the schema changes, we can detect it, right? That is very important things to know about the schema evolution. And this is the advantage of the lakehouse. So there are no schema changes or impact to the downstream. So that's very um, good to have the schema evolution in the lakehouse. But like I said, in the data warehouse, they should not change the schema as long as the new business added, right? That is the best practice. But in some cases, the business wants to have like the column that they can query joining the table, or we can create a wide column table or a variant table that they can use to query the data by themselves. We can store data in the JSON format, or in Postgre they have the as I remember, in Postgre we have the p JSON, or we can store data in JSON format, and then if we use with the SQL struct type, we can query or get the data from that column. So that's good. And I think that's all about schema evolution for lakehouse and warehousing, and all the notes that I got from the projects. So I hope that I have your opinion about the schema evolutions for the lakehouse and warehouse. If you have any concern or questions or any opinion or any solutions, we can discuss later, or you can directly reach out to me, and just leave a comment a bit under below, and hopefully we have the good chance to discover about how we can handle schema change during the time. For the batching is certainly change schema, but for the application or real-time streaming, the application always changes the schema if the mobile application changes adding new feature by using the Adobe Analytics, or they using the tagging manager to ingest or change the schema or change the type of the column. So all the change should be captured. So and yes, that's all for today. And if you interested about the book, you can reach out here, and we have in here we can have the data camping. There are 9 weeks of the data engineering learning, all the infrastructure, document, Docker, and Terraform. We learn about the data injection, warehousing, analytics, and with the DBT, batching, and streaming. This is really important. This is not the step-by-step guideline, but with that topic and key important things, key important technology or techniques, I think you will have your way with the generative AI to generate all the know-how and knowledge for you by your own, and that works, right? And we have the hands-on. There's some part one understanding about the book, and some hidden feature. They should be have the subscription for that. And I think just went through the document. If you have anything or any information, just let me know on a comment. So yeah, have a great day and see you in the next one. Bye bye.